Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary. My name is Becky, my email address is here. It's becky@tradictive.com, that one there. There's also support@tradictive.com, so you can email either one of those if you have questions on anything. Let me just cover the disclaimers, make sure that they are covered there. Top left hand corner, please read them, not just for legal purposes of course, to read disclaimers, but also to understand that these kind of videos are demonstrations. Okay, so what is a 3D market commentary? Essentially, every day we send out an email, so every day Monday to Friday, we send out an email to our free members that has information on 5 major markets in the world on 3 separate elements. So we're looking at 3 different statistical things going on in 5 major world markets. So it's a 3D market commentary. I'll show you that in a second. Just before we do, I'm just going to show you guys this link here, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. If you come here, you can get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top. That's how you'll get this email every day as well. But also once you have that, you can scroll down here and you can ask questions here in a public space. So if you have questions, you can place it there. I will then answer the question here and everybody learns from the same area. So ideally that's where you'd go to ask questions. It's tradewithufos.com/Becky. Okay, so let's have a look at that email that I was telling you about. It's called our Newsflash. Again, 3D approach, 3D market commentary. That's what we're looking at here. So for each of the markets, we are looking at 3 separate things. First things first, market climate, upcoming market direction. Where do we have probabilities? Up, down, or perhaps nowhere? We use technology to help us with everything when we trade, including for this question. Where do we have probabilities? We use AutoClimate. AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms you can use it on. And it shows us with these dots, sorry, I just deleted that accidentally, shows us with these dots where we have probability. If we have a thick blue dot, like one of these, that would tell us that that's where we have probability upwards. If we have a thick red dot, that would tell us probability downwards. If we have a thin dot, like the one we have currently, or maybe one of those or something in the past, if we have a thin dot, that tells us probability nowhere. So we then know, based on where the probabilities lie, should we be buying, selling, or doing nothing. So we'll look at that per market. Then what we want to look at is buy and sell UFOs, unfilled orders. Essentially, where are the buyers and where are the sellers? That's going to help us to decide where we buy and where we sell specifically. So if we want to buy with these guys. These green UFOs show us, with the prices as well, where we have buyers, where we have a significant amount of buyers. Now that's helpful to know because the only way price can go up on anything is if you have more buyers than sellers. So by knowing where big stacks of buyers are, that gives us more probability that price does go up from there. If we sell, we want to sell with these guys, these red ones. Again, it shows us the prices, where we have sellers, significant amount of sellers. If we're selling, we want to sell with big stacks of sellers. It's more likely to push price down. So we want to know where these are per market. So we'll go through that per market as well. And then what we want to know is market volatility. How quickly are these markets likely to move, and therefore perhaps how risky are they? So we'll look at that per market as well. So we're looking at daily charts for each of these markets. So of course, different things apply to different time frames, but we're looking at daily charts. We'll also be looking at the futures contracts for these markets. For those that don't know what futures are, they're essentially representations of things. It's like a derivative of what we're looking at. So for the S&P 500, which is what we're looking at right now, which is the top 500 US stocks, essentially what we're looking at here on the right hand side is a representation of US stocks. Okay. So with that, we see that we have a confirmed downwards climate with the US stock market right now. We have a thick red dot there, probability downwards. Now, usually this market would come down for 3 candles, and we're on candle number 5, which means we've gone past what is usual in terms of a move to the downside. So that doesn't mean anything necessarily, doesn't mean it's going to stop and turn around today. It could go way past what's normal. Sometimes we fall short of what's normal, sometimes we go past what's normal. That's how we come up with a normal in between, right? So it doesn't mean that it's going to stop and turn around. It just means that it's less likely to keep going down than if it was less than normal. So bear that in mind. Now we do have sell orders here at 45.49.50 to 44.85.50, and it looks like we recently took out some buy orders, which means the closest stack of buyers is actually all the way down here now at 41.23 to 40.55.50. So overall probability to the downside here with the S&P, we've got a lot of room to the downside, sellers literally just above us, a lot of room before we get to the buyers, with probability down on the auto climate. So overall probability down here with the S&P. Now in terms of volatility, we would expect the S&P to move up and down in 1 year of 18.56%, which is 52.21 points up or down in 1 day. In a week is 114.93 points up or down. And in 1 month, 239.25 points up or down. Now, like we were talking about, this is all to do with probabilities and statistics, things like that. So nothing is 100% probable, nothing is guaranteed. It's all about what is more likely to happen than not, but we still manage our risk just in case we're wrong, and we still might layer more things into this to increase our probabilities. For us as traders, we don't want to be trading where we don't at least have some probabilities, as that's what we're looking at here. Okay, so that's the S&P. Let's move on to the next market, which is oil. Now it says up here about looking to educate yourself. We do a bunch of courses. You can check them out. Trade plans, backtesting, stocks, forex, psychology, futures. So by all means, check those out if you want to learn any of those. They're pretty sort of cheap or fairly priced as well. Now, most of them come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps. So AutoClimate is already a free app in most platforms. You can use it on anyway, but AutoUFOs is a paid for app. You can subscribe directly to it. You don't need to do a course. You can just get the AutoUFOs, and depending on which platform you use, depends on what the cost would be, but it's a monthly or yearly subscription. If you take a course, more often than not, it's actually cheaper to do a course and get 3 months complimentary access to the UFOs than it is to just subscribe to the UFOs directly anyway. So that's actually cheaper to do a course than it is to just go for the AutoUFOs directly. So check that out if you're interested in that. Okay, with oil, we have a confirmed upwards climate, so probability upwards. We've got a thick blue dot here. Now, usually oil would go up for 7 candles. We're on candle number 4, which means we've still got a little way to go based on what usually happens. However, we have just hit a stack of sellers and it's already started to push price down. So we had sellers here, price came up and then came down a little bit. That's exactly what we expect sellers to do, is push price down. That was between 74.23 to 72.93, and there are still sellers there. Now we have buy orders close behind us or close below us here at 71.22 to 69.51. Overall, we would say we have probability up in the sense of we have the climate pushing upwards and we have buy orders close below us pushing upwards. But to me, the presence of this red UFO really close by is something that, of course, offsets some of that probability. We've got sellers above us as well, which stops all of the probabilities lining up where we want them to be. Still, overall, if you had to call it, it would be upwards. To me, not enough lining up for me to want to place a trade on it, but that's each to their own on that one. So with oil, we'd expect in a year with market volatility that we'd expect it to move up or down of 32.38%, which is 1.48 points up or down in a day. In a week, 3.26 points up or down. And in 1 month, 6.78 points up or down. So that's oil. Okay, next market is gold. Now it says here about coaching and support. We do a bunch of coaching and support for free online, on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can email us, you can post questions on our website, and we'll answer them and things like that. So lots of coaching and support available for free. We also have a closed coaching community where people pay a small monthly fee to have access to more of our time in closed environments. So if that helps you, by all means check that out. If not, of course, there's a bunch of things you can use online. Okay, so market climate for gold is confirmed down. Thick red dot, probability downwards. Usually, gold would go down for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 1. So room for it to continue to the downside based on what usually happens. However, similar kind of situation as to what we just saw, but inverse, is that here we have probability down, but we have buy orders right there, perhaps in the way. They are between 1759.6 to 1742.6. Now we have sell orders above us at 1866 to 1804.4. They've worked a few times, pushing price down once, twice. You could call it maybe 3, 4, 5 times. They keep working to push price down. That's what we expect sell orders to do, is push price down. So although we have sell orders pushing price down, we have buy orders beneath us that we would expect to push price up. overall, if you had to call it, it's probability downwards. The climate is down, the sell orders are pushing price down, but again, we have buy orders beneath us pushing price upwards, which could become a problem. So overall probability down, but again, not all lining up the way we'd want them to. Now, with market volatility on gold, we'd expect movement up or down in a year of 15.14%, which is 16.98 points up or down in a day, 37.37 points up or down in a week, and 77.8 points up or down in a month. Okay, next market, which is going to be the US dollar. Now, the US dollar is responsible for about 80% of transactions in the markets worldwide every day. So whether you trade it or not, you should be aware of what it does, because it will impact, I'm sure, the markets that you trade. So with the dollar, we have a confirmed, actually it's an unconfirmed, just unconfirmed. I think it's just changed here. We have a thin dot on our climate, which shows us that we actually have an unconfirmed climate. Not enough probabilities either way, meaning we wouldn't choose to do anything. If you don't have enough probabilities either way, why would you trade, right? How would you know where to trade, what to trade? So with this, we have an unconfirmed climate. We have buy orders beneath us at 92.31 to 91.8 that have pushed price up already a little bit. So they might continue to push price up, and we'll see price confirmed to the upside. For the time being, we don't really know that yet. We have sell orders here at 93.75 to 93.455. They could obviously push price down if price were to get up there. Little bit of room at the moment. At the moment, unconfirmed, undecided here with the dollar. Now, in terms of volatility, it's the least volatile of our list. We would expect it to move up or down in a year by 4.93%. So in a day, that's 0.29 points. In a week, 0.63 points. And in a month, 1.32 points. Up or down, of course, for all of them. So last market, last but not least, is backed Bitcoin. Now, it says here about interested but have questions. If you do have questions about courses, apps, memberships, things like that, you can self-schedule a clarification call with one of our experts, chat it through with somebody if you have any questions. So Bitcoin is the last market, and we have an unconfirmed climate again, a thin dot. Not enough probabilities either way. Can't call it on this time frame. We have buy orders a little way beneath us at 41,460 to 37,437.5. And we have sell orders here at 57,975 to 54,500. And we're kind of in the middle. So not really sure what's going on in the climate. Also not really close to either stack of buy or sell orders to say that they might impact us today. So again, at the moment on Bitcoin, undecided. Now, Bitcoin is our most volatile, so again, perhaps the most risky, but also maybe the most reward available if you're on the right side of it. The yearly expectation would be 92.38% up or down, and then up or down in a day of 2,770.18, in a week 6,098.26, and in a month 12,694.54. That's the volatility we'd expect there. So that's all of our markets. We've looked at climate, where's the probability, up, down or nowhere. We've looked at buy and sell UFOs, where do we have buyers and sellers that could push price up or down respectively, and volatility, how quickly can these markets move. Now, the last thing we want to look at is our weekly economic calendar. We get this, you can just about see that there, from fxstreet.com. This is where we get the economic calendar, and we filter by high impact news on most major markets. And we do that just so that we can know news that it's upcoming that might create extra volatility in the markets. So for example, today being Thursday, it's Mexico's Independence Day. So Merry Independence Day, Mexico. And we also have news coming out on the euro and the US dollar that's either just come out or just coming out that could affect those markets and create some volatility there. So be aware of that. Any questions, you can self-schedule a clarification call if you wish with one of our experts and talk it through. If you have technical questions, you can come to tradewithufos.com/Becky. That's the link up there. Get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership if you don't have already. And then you can scroll down here and ask a question in this area so that I can answer it in that area and we all learn from the same place. I'll be back tomorrow with the market commentary then, so I'll see you guys then. Otherwise, have a great trading day, great sort of end to your trading week over the next couple of days.